The girl who escaped the robbers, a frontier rescue that changed everything. It was early morning when the fog rolled in thick over the prairie, heavier than I'd ever seen before. The sun was just beginning to rise, but its light couldn't pierce the low mist that blanketed everything in sight. Trees faded into ghosts, and the grass glistened with dew. Pa had been up since before dawn, tending to the wagon wheel that got stuck in a rut the night before. I was standing nearby, swatting at gnats and watching the fog crawl across the field like something alive. Even Clover, our dog, stayed close, her ears twitching at every sound. That morning felt wrong, not cold, but heavy, the kind of silence that makes your chest tighten like something is watching. Then Clover growled, low and deep. "What is it, girl?" Pa asked, his voice steady, but I could tell he felt it too. We froze. A rustling came from the tall grass not 20 yards away. Pa motioned for me to stay still. Clover took off toward the sound, disappearing into the white. "Stay behind me," Pa said, grabbing the rifle from the wagon. We followed slowly, our boots sinking into damp earth. The dew soaked my pants, and the fog stuck to my skin like sweat. I gripped Pa's coat, heart pounding. Then we saw her. A girl, no older than my little sister Annie, crouched near a fallen tree. Her dress was torn and muddied, hair tangled and damp. She looked up like a cornered animal, eyes wide with fear. Pa knelt down. "Hey there, it's all right. We're not going to hurt you." She didn't say a word. "My name's William, and this here's my boy." Still nothing. She was barefoot, and her knees were scraped raw. A bruise bloomed along one arm. Pa didn't press her with questions. He just offered his hand. It took a minute, but slowly she reached out and took it. We brought her back to our camp and gave her a cup of water. When she finally spoke, her voice was barely a whisper. "My name's Clara. The men. They took my ma and pa. I ran. I didn't know where to go." She'd escaped from a gang of robbers 3 nights ago. Her family had been traveling west, like us, when they were ambushed. She said her parents had tried to distract the men so she could run. She'd been hiding in the fog and woods ever since. She hadn't eaten in 2 days. Pa built up the fire and gave her some leftover cornbread. I gave her my canteen. She said thank you so quietly I almost missed it. "We should look for the cabin she mentioned," Pa said to me, eyes scanning the mist. She said she passed one in the fog yesterday. We left Clover with Clara and followed her vague memory across the field. After nearly an hour of searching, the fog broke just enough for us to see the outline of a small, worn-down log cabin nestled beneath some trees. It was empty, abandoned for years by the looks of it, but safe enough. We brought Clara there, a little lantern, and set out to track down her parents. The fog had started to lift by midday. The air stayed humid, the sun hot on our backs. Pa followed prints and broken grass until finally, deep in the prairie, we found signs of struggle. A shredded bag, pieces of torn fabric, a cracked lantern. And then, we heard voices. Carefully, Pa crept up a ridge. In a clearing below, tied to a tree, were Clara's parents. Her mother's face was bruised, her father's hands bloodied, but alive. The robbers, 3 of them, lounged around a small fire. I'll never forget what Pa did next. He handed me the rifle and whispered, "Stay here." Then he walked straight down the ridge like he belonged there. One of the men stood up, hand on his pistol. "Who are you?" "Just a man passing through," Pa said, voice calm like the sky before a storm. "Heard there was trouble. Thought I'd see if I could help." That's when Clover came tearing into the clearing, barking like a thunderclap. It was enough. I took the shot, not to hit anyone, just to startle. The robbers scattered. Pa tackled the nearest one and within seconds had him on the ground. The other 2 took off on horseback, not wanting a real fight. We cut Clara's parents free. Tears and hugs and whispered prayers followed. Her mother clung to her like she'd never let go again. That night, we all stayed in the cabin, cramped but safe. Fireflies blinked just outside the window, and for the first time in days, Clara smiled. She curled up beside her ma near the fire, and I sat back, thinking how sometimes, even in the thickest fog, light finds its way through. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Wild West bedtime stories. And next time, I'll tell you about the rider we found slumped over his saddle with a letter that would change everything.
But that's a story for another fire.